Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash, and double honor to our elders and apostles of the great millstone. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I just wanted to go into the unrighteous decrees, the setup of Esau Edom, the bullshit of this system, and why it must be taken down. I was watching this clip of this man, this guy, right, being judged, what can perceive to be a Negro, you never know who his father is, right? He might be an Edomite, he might be of any other nations. But perceived to be a Negro, this is the judgment they set upon him. It's a Florida man who was married to 3 women at the same time, sentenced for felony bigamy. Okay? Sentenced for felony bigamy. I didn't even pull it up too much. I didn't know like what kind of sentence they gave him or whatever. I don't know the details. But just this simple fact right here alone is it's an unrighteous decree. It's an unrighteous decree. Like the natural selection, the natural way of a man in life, according to spirituality, is for the man to reproduce, to be fruitful and multiply in the earth in a righteous sense, not being with other men's women. It's the reason why the Lord has so many women more than men in the earth. It's the reason why there's so much land. There's a reason why, I did a research probably about a year ago, and I remember one of the elders the elder at our camp, not the elder apostle, in Connecticut, but we have a elder called Gabar, whose name is Gabar at our camp. And I remember him pulling up. I remember I was listening to a lesson that he did, or that he did with, that he went into with one of the brothers, probably about a week ago, and he went into the fact of the lesson that I had about, everybody, based on the number of people in the world, everybody has at least 4 to 5 acres of land they could live on, and grow food and harvest vegetation and so on and so forth. But because of the restrictions of Esau Edom and his control over the earth, he's created this thing as far as apartments, and buildings and skyscrapers where people live on top of each other, which the Lord said that's unrighteous. That's an unrighteous decree. All right. Let me see. Let me get that. Let's start there. The Lord said, beautiful. Isaiah 55:8. And it states, woe to them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. Right. So this is an abomination. This is a unrighteous decree. The Lord said, woe to them that join house to house. These apartment complexes, the prison system, so on and so forth. Field to field, that lay field to field. No, we should all have our own acres of land where we're not all up on each other. And due to the research that I did, you got at least it's a football field. We all have a football field. Whatever acres is a football field. We all have that amount of each individual. I'll say adult, right, has that amount of space from anyone else in this world if it was done properly. Right? If the families were divided, properly. But anyway, I'm gonna go and play this lesson or play this clip, and then we're gonna go into it.
Across social media. But first, our I-Team has an update on a story we broke earlier this year. Good evening and welcome to ABC Action News at 6. I'm Wendy Ryan.
I'm Paul Agrone. A Florida man was thrown in jail after his wife discovered that he was married to 2 other women at the same time. He was back in court yesterday for his sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to bigamy, which is a felony.
And new tonight, I-Team investigator Adam Walser is following through with the latest developments in this strange case, and it was shared all across social media.
Henry Betsy Jr. pleaded guilty to a single felony count of bigamy back in May. But after he entered that plea deal, he was arrested in another state, leading the judge to revoke his bond. When we last saw Henry Betsy Jr. in court, he was dressed in a sports shirt and blazer with his new girlfriend beside him.
Yeah, Henry, we want to get your side of all this. What can you tell us?
Well, unfortunately, I'm unable to talk at this moment.
But when he arrived for his sentencing hearing Thursday, he was wearing handcuffs and an orange Hernando County jail uniform. His bond revoked by the judge because he was arrested for assault and battery of a family or household member. The alleged assault took place in Virginia, where he and his girlfriend had traveled to attend a wedding.
Inappropriate.
Thursday's hearing was all about the felony bigamy charge we first told you about in May. 3 Florida women from 3 different Florida counties all met Henry Betsy Jr. on dating websites and married him at county courthouses during a 2-year period. Only one of his wives was willing to appear on camera.
I met him on Match.com.
He said all the right things. He sold the perfect person when in reality he was none of those things.
Betsy didn't get divorces or annulments before marrying again. Last year, Tanya Betsy learned Henry was married to Michelle and Brandy Betsy.
I just started county by county putting his name in, and that's when I came up with the marriage to Michelle and the marriage to Brandy.
She found me and she messaged me.
All right, so let this be a telltale, a lesson. See, anybody out there, see now, if this guy was listening to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, he was moving, with any wisdom, any true knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, any spiritual wisdom, he would never put no ring or went down to no county court and asked any of these women to be his damn wife. For one, they look like Edomites. Therefore, the only privilege that they got is being a damn a concubine, if anything, to an Israelite man, if he's an Israelite man. All right. With that, I want to get this. I want to get this meaning of bigamy. Let's get this meaning of bigamy. Yeah, this is a form of judgment, though. Idiot. Oh no. Bigamy. Meaning. Bigamy meaning.
Bigamy.
It's a noun. It says the crime of marrying someone while still legally married to someone else. Compare polygamy. All right, so polygamy is a crime, and bigamy you being married to somebody by Esau Edom's laws, right? Going to the courthouse or going to the church and having these signing papers, signing documents, which we keep on telling y'all, in these days and time, any man in America or in this Western society that decides to sign a piece of paper for a form of marriage to anyone, to a woman, but I ain't about to go there, all right? But to a woman, spiritually, when you lay down with that woman, you're married to that woman, spiritually, all right? Now, some women you take on as a wife, and some women you take on as a concubine. Now, a wife will be someone of the children of Israel, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, Haitians, and the speckled bird. Now, any of these women might be a speckled bird, but at the same time, they might be Edomite. Right now, we're not about to get into all that. No one was going to know until Yahweh shall return, and he sent his angels to separate the goat from the wheat from the tares. All right, but the thing is, based on this unrighteous decree, you got a man that's in jail, right? Just for sleeping with women. But let's go here. Let's go here. I want to speak about this. Let's say the 7-year rule of living together means marriage. Means marriage, right? There we go. It says AI overview. The idea that living together for 7 years automatically creates a common law marriage, right, is a misconception. While some states recognize common law marriage, it is not established simply by cohabiting for a certain duration. Instead, common law marriage requires a mutual agreement to be married, living together as husband and wife, and representing to others that you are married. All right? So that's the common law marriage. That's the common law rule. You know? You living with somebody for 7 years. They got another thing. What's the other thing? Let's do this. If someone gets mail at your address that makes them a dependent, should I say dependent? A legal resident. There we go. Let's get it. AI overview. No, receiving mail at an address does not automatically make someone a legal resident. Legal residence is determined by factors like physical presence, intent to remain, and official documentation like a driver's license or a voter registration. Okay, same damn difference. If you get if you're living with somebody, right? Nowadays you got this fucking term called boyfriend and girlfriend, which is just it's an abomination to really be calling somebody a boyfriend and girlfriend, especially if y'all are adults. If you're living with your mother and your father and things of this nature, and you female and male, you're in school, you're between the ages of 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever, and y'all playing the game, y'all having sex and shit like that, that might be considered a boyfriend or girlfriend. But in reality, in all reality, especially spiritually, you guys are married. You guys are married. It don't matter, when y'all enter into puberty, when a woman is past the age of her flower, when a man has, when y'all have the ability to create children, you go through your puberty stage, and you have the ability to create children, you're pretty much a man and a woman at that time. It's just this society has been so dumbed down to reality, through their laws and decrees, right? But the point is, let me go here, right? Speaking about birth, giving birth, right? They say if a man takes care of a child from the child's birth, he is charged child support. Okay, he is charged child support. Let's see what they say. Okay, it says in most U.S. jurisdictions, a man who is presumed or legally established as the father of a child, even if he is not the biological father, can be obligated to pay child support if he has been acting as a child's parent. That's an unrighteous decree. We can't determine if this child is biologically my child and I still gotta pay for them. This can occur if he was married to the child's mother, right? See, there go that term, married, at the time of birth, or if he has been acknowledged as the father or has acted as a parental role, has acted in a parental role. All right? Hey, man, the devil is tricky. So you got to be careful about how he operates. And all these cohorts out here, all these people that have opportunity to destroy you as a man, especially the Hebrew Israelite man, you got to move like Yahweh Shah say, in wisdom, right? I mean, it's a thin line between taking care of somebody and end up being the person that they look at you as, you daddy. All right, let me end off on this. I ain't gonna go too much further. Let's get this Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah 10. I want to jump down for start at verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." Right? Through this law system, we just seen a couple of laws as far as the 7-day, what do they call it, the common law situation. 7 years. I mean, you being with somebody, y'all can, or if you playing a role, if you acting like that, you're deemed to be married. So why would you sit up there and fill out a piece of paper that can get you caught up in a law called bigamy, get you caught up in a violation of a law called bigamy? Evidently this guy, he didn't have no wisdom, no knowledge, no understanding, no spiritual understanding of how to operate what he was doing. He didn't have to get married to any. What was the benefit? What's the benefit of getting married to any of these women? I mean, he probably knew what he was saying. He probably got a car out of him. He probably was stacking his money. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? Women do it all day, every day, don't they? These women out here, don't they? Well, besides actually getting married to a man, don't they go out there and play the field? They got a man to clean their house. They got a man to pay their bills. They got a man to keep them up as far as their hair, nails, and things of this nature. Slakia. That's not what I want to do. It says, verse 2, "To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." Through their system, through the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, on the left-hand side, they prey on the women that don't have men in their lives. They prey on the father. Well, actually, like the brothers say from camp, what I'm learning, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fathers. When it comes to us, the children of Israel, right? We're the widows. We're supposed to be married to Yahweh Shema Shah, right? And also we're the fatherless, because that's our father. Yahweh Shema Shah, through Yahweh Shah, that's our father, that's our family. But from our sins, we've been detached from our husband. We've been detached from our father. And what they do, they put us in all type of straits, because the curses, because they have the opportunity, they have the hand up right now. The earth has been given to the hand of the wicked. So they, through their unrighteous decrees, they have us stricken. But I'm gonna go here and close out in Ecclesiasticus. The pull that up because I don't got that book, that Bible here. Ecclesiasticus, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10. Ecclesiasticus. I'm gonna go to chapter 10. Salaki. Oh, let's start from verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Is that well ordered? To tell somebody that, you know, you live with the common law, the so-called common law, right? Or if you marry somebody. Because we know by spiritual law that a man sleeping with a woman, that makes y'all either a wife, that either makes her a wife or a concubine. Because at the end of the day, the woman is the possession. And I know y'all don't like to say that, especially a lot of these women nowadays. These women think that you're possessed by them, like they own you. The Lord's gonna correct all that, in the very near future. We be able to see it. You know, we be alive to see the whole transition. Right. Speaking of transitions, that's what we get. Let's get it. It says, "As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." Now, the ones that's really in authority, it starts with Yahweh Shai. It starts with this awakening. It starts with the 144,000 under Yahweh Shai, the tabernacle of King David, the future rulers of the world, right? The future rulers of the universe. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, masters of the universe. Right? But an unwise king like this one we got right now destroys his people. Right? Instead of just telling them the truth about about the law of marriage and things like this, they're going to create a ripple. You know, they're going to create destruction amongst people. Instead of bringing peace and harmony, even though they have all the resources, they have all the money, they have everybody's ear. Right? As it's written, a poor man, a poor man's thoughts are despised, or words are despised, but the words of a rich man, everybody, they take heed to it, roughly paraphrasing. They have the ear. But instead of just, like it says in the Psalms 50, that let me see if I can get it right quick. Salakia, get the Psalms 50. Get Becky over there. Psalms 50. It says, yeah, right. I'm gonna start at verse I'm gonna just start at verse 16. It says, "But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, What hast thou to do? What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, and that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou considerest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy frame of deceit." All right, going back into this lesson pretty much. Going back into this lesson. They frame deceit, even though they be taught righteousness, even though they be given favor, they will not learn righteousness. Even though they've been given favor, they will not learn righteousness. Let me go back to where I was at in Ecclesiastes chapter 10. It say, "An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, Yahweh Shai. In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing that at all by injurious practices. Pride, and this is going to be the balance that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to impart inside the children of Israel here, starting with 144,000. The elect children of Israel, the future rulers of Israel. These words of truth is going to be a part of them. Lord, willing me be a part of that number, right? Equity, the way that Yahweh Shai, the way that is made inside of Yahweh Shai to bring it forth, right? With humility, with meekness, with austerity, with balance, right? With austerity, with firmness, without injurious practices, with 100% equity. Verse 7, pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doeth one committed iniquity. This is the point in verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit. Right? So when you lock a man up, don't that cost money? If they got money, they gotta bail out, they gotta go to court, they gotta pay the bills, man. Y'all all in conjunction. Right? Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right? From one people to another, and that makes me want to go here to Daniel chapter, is that 4 or 2? Daniel chapter, I want to say 2. I'm going to jump down to 40. Yeah. Here we go. Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. It says, and in the days, right, because of these unrighteous decrees that Esau Edom is putting out there, because he don't know the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, because he cast it behind him, right, because he will not learn righteousness. The kingdom is translated from one people to another, from one kingdom to another. Daniel 2 and 44 says, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And that goes into Isaiah chapter 45 and 17. The kingdom of Israel being set up under Yahweh Shai with equity, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. All right? And that's talking about the kingdom of Israel standing forever. It's going to consume all these kingdoms. When Yahweh shall return and meet all these, like he said, he's going to stir up jealousy amongst the nations. And he's going to bring them down to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of judgment. Then shall, things are going to be made right. That's all I wanted to say, pretty much. I hope this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect, that you move with wisdom and understand. Let this be a lesson, man. We're not here to marry none of these other heathen nations. If we sleep with them, they just concubines. That's it. All wives are of the tribes of Israel. Not saying that we can't bring Israel back not saying that we cannot bring Israel back through other women if we are part of that elect number. All right? But just be wise, because Eve out here, she'll do you in too. But the Lord got everything in control at the end of the day. Just know that the goings of the man is of the Lord. So some men are going to be exalted, and some men are going to be made examples out of. Just, Lord, wouldn't we be a part of those that, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we stay humble, because you know what comes with that. All right. With that, we're going to close out giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Racha Kodash, double honor, sales, and apostles, great millstone. Till next time, Kwame Yasharallah, Wa Abba Baba.